Hi and welcome to 3 Questions with MotionPoint. I'm your host Dominic Ditterbad and have the pleasure today to be with Verity Cockburn, MotionPoint's Adaptive Translation Product Manager. Verity, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well, Dom. Thank you very much for having me. I'm very pleased to be here in the iconic pink chairs. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm glad to be here on the iconic pink chairs once again with you. Today, actually, we're talking about a very fun subject. What's the future of the translation and localization industry? So let's just get right through it. Verity, what do you think the future is?
So I think that we're actually at a really exciting time at the moment in the translation industry. There are a lot of advancements that are happening in the field of neural machine translation. And I think in parallel, the world is really learning about the power of AI. You know, with ChatGPT, everyone's playing with it, everyone's seeing like the power of that to create human-like text. And so I think that people's perceptions will change for machine translation as well due to that. I think that, in the past there's been a perception that machine translation, it produces wrong translations, it produces silly translations, and now we're really moving away from that. We're really moving towards like human quality translations. That's happening very fast. I think people have to keep their eye on that with real machine translation.
I think that's very interesting. You just hit it on the head there. The future of the industry is kind of like accepting that human translation costs are too high and making it so that there's an easier way, cheaper, most cost-effective way of accomplishing.
Right, while still maintaining quality as well.
Absolutely, while still maintaining the same level of human translation quality. So I would ask you then, question number 2, how can companies and technologies help reduce translation costs and kind of keep pace with where our industry is going?
So I think there's a lot of smart ways that companies can leverage the different translation technologies that are out there, as well as the new technologies as well. So we have, first of all, translation memory, and that's been around for many years. Anyone who's been involved in localization has a translation memory. But there are also other smart ways that MotionPoint is working on that we can leverage translation memory more smartly with smart algorithms that leverage it for repetitive content. And then, like I was mentioning, highly trained domain-specific neural machine translation as well, using that to really add that on the top, and then keep the human element as well for human review and for strategic areas of the content. We can still keep humans involved as well.
Yeah, it's almost like translation memory 2.0 is what the future is, right? It's like, okay, you have your translation memory now, how can you use that to get more leverage,
Right.
What are similar repetitive patterns that you can maybe pick up and on the fly and make sure that that part of translation isn't something that's getting a cost that's going back to the customer, but instead still getting leverage from that translation memory with algorithmic translation, and then of course neural machine translation to get that type of leverage, right?
Absolutely, and that's a difference that we're making at MotionPoint, because some translation companies, they'll be focused on translating words for you. So even for the repetitive content, they will charge you less. But we at MotionPoint are really focused on reducing the number of words that you translate overall. So and keeping that quality and leveraging the memory that you have. So it's really a good way forward, I think, for the industry.
Yeah, it's almost like most of our peers in this industry are incentivized to translate more words and to make it more expensive, because that's how they make their money, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But what we're doing here, what the future of the industry beckons, is that we need to reduce the cost. We need to reduce the actual number of words that we need for human translation quality. So that's very interesting. Well, and for companies that don't quite have all of that yet, like, what should localization companies like that be focused on to reduce costs for the company?
So I think the key is to look at your content. What types of content are you translating? Is it web? Is it omni-channel? Is it documents? And do you have a translation memory, and keeping that translation memory consistent? And then, leveraging that translation memory as smartly as you can. And then, keep an eye on the industry and see how you can leverage, the neural machine translation that's out there, and, try to combine. I think the key is combining different technologies and different ways of leveraging memory to reduce those costs and keep the quality levels.
Wonderful. Couldn't have said it any other way. I'm not going to rephrase it or repackage it. There you have it. that does it, Verity. Thank you so much for taking the time, and to our audience, I'll see you next time in 3 Questions with Motion.